everybody, here I am with my favorite albums of 1983. I say this all the time. Don't bother to leave a comment going, hey man, where's this album? The answer is it's up your ass. Alright? So just dig up your ass and pull out that album you don't see me talk about. Alright? Because these are my favorite albums. Alright. First one. And I gotta say, some of these aren't that great, but they have some good songs on it, so therefore, hey man, throw it in the pile. This is part one. Part two is my top 20 of 1983. There are some great ones in here that should be in the top 20 actually. This one is the second Vandenberg album, Before the Storm. Heading for the Storm, I'm sorry. Not as good as the first one, but it is good. I wouldn't even say this has just a few good tracks. It's got a lot of good tracks. I like the ballad, Different Worlds. I like This Is War, the title track, Welcome to the Club. Some really good stuff. I dig Vandenberg. First album's my favorite. This is another great one, awesome one. This is Born in America from Riot. I believe this is the second album with the late great Rhett Forrester. You can't go wrong with Riot. You just can't. Like Rhett Forrester, Guy Speranza, the Thundersteel lineup. 80s Riot. They had some good ones even after the 80s, but to me, you just can't go wrong. And this one's great. Get it. Or at least listen to it. Saxon, Power and the Glory. Great album. This is the follow-up to Denim and Leather, my favorite album. I feel after this album is when a little bit of the next album, Crusader, which I love the title track. I like 2-3 songs on that album, but you already feel record company pressure to make a hit, guys. So this is before that all happened. This is the last one without the infiltration of the weasels of record companies. Later Saxon rules. They're fucking awesome. You got to check out the later albums if you haven't. They're amazing. And this one's amazing too. Power and the Glory. I love it. You guys know Hellion with Anne, the singer? Awesome EP. I bought this one just because of the cover. I never heard of this band before. Bought this in '83. I didn't know who they were, but I liked the cover. And when I took it home, I didn't realize they had a female singer, and she fucking rocks. This is a great EP. The spell is broken or something like that. Break the Spell, right? Break the Spell is an awesome track. I like all 4 tracks on this album. Killer EP, Hellion. Awesome. Grim Reaper. I bought this because I saw the video on MTV of See You in Hell. Had to get it. You know, I mean, I was kind of like a little Beavis and Butthead back then, you know, when it came to metal bands. I loved it. Where Beavis and Butthead totally slammed this album when they did, the video when they saw See You in Hell, because it was cool to bash metal releases in the 90s. I don't forget that, you two little dorks. Don't know how cool that is because you never got laid. Oh yeah, and I'm wearing the shirt right now. Canadian metal. These guys are gods. This is Heavy Metal Maniac. Such a great album. I love Exciter, man. Oh man, I just hope you know it. I don't even want to say if you haven't heard it. I hope everybody's watching that knows Exciter. This one, alright, it's got a few good tracks. Cobra, First Strike, featuring the singer that later went on to Survivor, and he has passed away since. Mandy Myers, the guy he was in Crocus for a while. Great guitar player. Blood on Your Money is a song that made me buy this. Actually, I bought this later on, and it has a sticker here. $2.99. I got it for super cheap. I saw it in a bin. But, you know, way back in the 80s, too. I've had this for well over 20 years. And, you know, I mean, it's not all the way great, but there's some really good tracks on it, especially Blood on Your Money. You can't go wrong with the Rods, man. To me, I love everything this band does. And this is a really kick-ass live album. You know, you can tell it's in a club, and you can tell it's like the club's into it, and they're playing their asses off. You could just feel the sweat you know, the hot, steaming, sweaty bar they're playing in, or club, wherever it is. This album rules. The Rod's live. I didn't know much about Zebra. This album was pretty big back then in that year when it was released. I knew Tell Me What You Want and the other song, whatever it was called, Who's Behind the Door. I bought this not too long ago, a couple years ago. I took a chance for cheap. I said, well, you know, I kind of like Tell Me What You Want. I wasn't really like big on it. It's a good album, man. Actually, from beginning to end, I really enjoyed it. Now, a very unpopular opinion. I don't like this album, except for Under Pressure, and TV Dinners is pretty cool, goofy tune. But I never was a fan of Gimme All Your Lovin' and Sharp Dressed Man and Legs. And I love ZZ Top, you know, everything before this one, you know, it sounded like a drum machine. I just wasn't into it. But I did like a couple tracks off it. The second Night Ranger album. I like Dawn Patrol a little more, but this has some great songs. It has my favorite Night Ranger song on here, Touch of Madness. You got Rockin' America, Why Does Love Have to Change? That's a rockin' tune. There's another really good one on here, Rumors in the Air. And the big hit, Sister Christian, and When You Close Your Eyes was kind of a hit. I really do dig this album. After this, I just don't care. When I heard Seven Wishes, I was just dumb. I've never been a Yes fan, ever. And believe me, I own Fragile on vinyl, and I've owned a couple of the earlier ones too that I just don't get it, okay? Sorry. I mean, my prog, I want a little heaviness like how Rush did it. But this album has a song called Changes that I super love, and I believe this was my brother's album, and I ended up with it. But I like it. I mean, I like that song that has no instruments. Which song is that where it's all singing? Leave It. Leave It was cool. This also has the hit Owner of a Lonely Heart. And I remember Cinema was pretty cool. It's a good album, man. I'm not even a Yes fan, so I'm not an authority of Yes, so maybe by me liking that, it's kind of the equivalent of some guy that, hey, I like Saint Anger, but I hate Ride the Lightning. Alright, call me a Yes poser. I'm fine with that. I've never heard this album. I've never been a Billy Idol fan. I know the songs. Rebel Yell, Eyes Without a Face, Flesh for Fantasy, and that's it. And None Do None for me. The only Billy Idol songs I ever liked was White Wedding. That's the only one. But you tell me, leave a comment below. If you own this album, would I like any of the other tracks? Or am I just a Billy Idol poser? Rolling Stones, Under Cover of the Night. This one, yeah, I bought this in a bargain bin. I think it was in one of those record day places, you know, where a bunch of vendors show up. And I bought this because I liked the title track, didn't really know much about it, and then I took it home and I remember I liked the song She Was Hot and Too Much Blood, and I know a couple other songs I liked on here. Not a bad album, of course it's not as good as the 70s stuff, you know, but what can you do? Blue Oyster Cult, this is a good album, A Revelation by Night. I bought this, you know, later on, I found it for cheap, and I love the song Take Me Away. It's a decent Blue Oyster Cult album with it. Take Me Away is one of my favorite songs by them, and man, when I saw them at the Culture Room like 10 years ago, they played Take Me Away. I was like, yes! Oh, and by the way, somebody gave me this Rebel Yell. I just figured I'd say that now because I know some pickle whistler would leave a comment going, were you going to buy a record and not listen to it? Alright, next. Aldo Nova. Subject Aldo Nova. I bought this, again, at one of those record deal things because I really like the song Monkey on Your Back. I took this home, I listened to it, and I gotta listen to it again. I mean, I remember hearing it and not disliking it, but I didn't hear anything as strong as Monkey on Your Back. But, you know, I remember that day I came home with a stack of albums and just played a bunch of music that day. But I'm going to give that one a spin again soon. Alright, now here I'm going to say like the Yes, Billy Idol. Here's another band I'm not into, but I like this album. And believe me, this is like liking I don't know, some really crappy album from a really good band, and then saying, you know, I don't like the Peter Gabriel era. I don't like, I've heard, you know, Lamb Lies on Broadway. I have two friends really into Genesis, and one of them used to annoy me with it. The other one tried too with a couple tracks here and there. I just couldn't get into it. This one I liked, not all the way through, but I love the song Mama. So I bought this for $2.99. So I bought it for Mama, and then, you know, I heard a couple songs that I remember on the radio, like That's All. I like that tune. It's a toe tapper. I ended up liking Home by the Sea. Illegal Alien's terrible. I don't like that one. Taking It All Too Hard, I believe, was another hit. I like some. I'd say about half of this album's pretty damn good. I love me Y&T, Dave Meniketti. I love his voice. I love his guitar playing. They were on a roll back then with Black Tiger, Earthshaker, and this Mean Streak rules, man. Man, there's so many great tracks on this one. Lonely Sign of Tokyo, Breaking Away, Hang 'em High rocks. Great stuff on here, man. Down and Dirty, title track, my favorite. Love Me, Mean Streak from Y&T. Boy, there's a lot of albums here of bands that I'm not into, but they came out in '83, and I liked the song, so I ended up buying it. Here's another one I bought, probably the same day I bought, what was that one? The Aldo Nova, it could have been, or Genesis or something. The Romantics. I always liked their first hit, What I Like About You, but I never ended up buying the album. But I liked it. And this one had that really cheesy Talking in Your Sleep, which I like as well. So I took a chance, I bought it, and you know what? It was a fun record. I only heard it once, but I thought it was fun. I plan on playing it again. Alright, the first Rat album. Well, it's an EP. I'm a big fan of this and Out of the Cellar. After that, there were a couple tracks here and there I liked, but not too much. But I really like Sweet Cheetah rocks. You Think You're Tough is great. The cover of Walking the Dog rocks. This is a great EP. Love it. This one, don't really like that much. But I like the song, what is it? How Can I Refuse? But there, you know, there's a couple other tracks I like off this. This is Passion Works from Heart. Bought it for cheap. I like that song, How Can I Refuse? Let's buy this. And I love Heart. You know, I'm a big fan of, you know, Dreamboat Annie's my favorite. I love Magazine and Dog and Butterfly, Bebe Lestrange. So I took a chance. Fuck it. It's Heart. Heart rocks. And it's not a bad album. I mean, there's quite a few record company pressure fillers. Alright, here's one. I wasn't a big fan of the Tom Peterless Cheap Trick era. Those, I didn't like One on One, and Stand on the Edge would be my least favorite of all Cheap Trick albums. Even worse than The Doctor, and I'm not even too crazy about that. This one, I think, is the best one of the dark period. Still, the songs sound a little too sugary, sappy, but live, they're great. I remember seeing them do, well, I've seen a bunch of these songs live, I saw, and they all sound way better live. I Can't Take It, Borderline, these are songs I like off here, live. I Don't Love Here Anymore. What's another one on here? Heaven's Fallen, I don't think I've ever seen live, and I like that one the best. But the rest that I didn't name, I don't care for. I did see this tour. I've seen Cheap Trick so many times, it's insane. But it is my favorite of the dark period, so that's something positive to say about it. And it's great live. Alright, Billy Joel. I got into a big Billy Joel kick when I went to one of these record places. I just scooped a bunch of his albums that I weren't really familiar with. I was familiar with the hits on here, like Uptown Girl and Tell Her About It. And what else? Longest Time. And, you know, listen to this album, it's kind of a throwback for the most part of like his influence, the 50s era stuff, doo-wop shit. I liked it though. You know, this is an album that I put on now and then. I've had this for a few years now, maybe about 8 years. And I've played this maybe 4 or 5 times in the past 8 years, and I dig it. I don't think it's bad. Oh boy. Hell yeah. Manowar, and this is at the height of them wearing loincloths. I love Manowar. I don't give a fuck how they look. I'll tell you right now, they look stupid as fuck. But this album rules. Battle hymns. Every album with Ross the Boss is awesome. I love Manowar. I love this album. My favorite song on here is Revelations, Death Angel. But man, this has March of Revenge, Gloves of Metal, We Wear Spikes, We Rule the Night, and Warlord with the hilarious intro of a guy running out of a house after having sex with somebody's daughter. Weird intro to this album. It's like, I don't know, like over a minute long of some guy getting caught banging somebody's daughter. Weird, right? But anyway, I love Manowar and I love this album and I can care less what they look like. Hey, I liked Asylum. This is my least favorite Police album, but it's still a good album. Pretty much great album. My favorite song though is not on here. I think it was a bonus track on a CD, on the CD and the cassette versions. Maybe now on a vinyl version of later on, because this is I bought way back then. I saw this tour. It's the only time I ever saw the Police was a Synchronicity tour with the FUKK and the New Animals. It was at the Orange Bowl. It was huge. They were at their biggest. We didn't know they were about to break up. I had no clue. But at least I got to see them. And I know they reunited, but I think those tickets, you had to take out your mortgage to get it, so I didn't even bother. I already saw them. It was a great show. I'm satisfied. This album, Murder by Numbers, is the bonus track, if I didn't mention it. I love that song. I think it's better than any song on here. But it does have its moments, like Synchronicity is a great song. Synchronicity 2 and a couple other ones. Alright, this one ain't that great. But it's Molly Hatchet and it has a really great song on it called Fall of the Peacemaker. One of my favorite Molly Hatchet songs. And there's a couple pretty good ones on here as well. This is not a bad album, but it's chock full of filler. Molly Hatchet, and this one's called No Guts, No Glory. I think that's when Danny Joe Brown came back to the band. This next one I'm going to show you, I fucking hate this album. There's nothing on it I like. And I love this band. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, domo domo. Now I can listen to Domo arigato and laugh because it's so stupid, but back then it made me sad. I did go see this tour. It was terrible. It was really bad. Though they did throw out like Snowblind and Crystal Ball and a couple other songs that weren't here, but for the most part, doing that stupid play on stage, and the show started with a movie. It was just, it is what most people say, in my opinion. I agree with most people. This is a terrible concept album that killed the band. Might have sold a lot in the beginning because Styx was a multi-platinum selling band, so they could have released an album of just farting and it would have sold as much, and it would have been better. Alright, this one I like though. Bigger fan of Journey during the Steve Perry, Greg Raleigh together. I know Greg Raleigh before with first 3 albums, good albums, but for me, Infinity, Evolution, and Departure, and Captured are my favorite Journey albums. I did like Escape, and I like this one, but I already told you my favorite era. But this has Rubicon, which is a great track, and Edge of the Blade. I even like the single, Separate Ways, Chain Reaction. I think it has some really good tracks on here. And hey, I like Faithfully. I think that's a great ballad. Alright. Oh, this is a great album. Never Surrender, Triumph. I love Triumph. This and probably the next one, Seven Thunder, Thunder 7, where, you know, that's when they reached, that's where it started to dip. But this one, it had a few kind of, I wouldn't even say dips. I don't hear no record company pressure on this, but some songs are kind of filler. But my favorite on here is a deep track called All the Way. It's always been my favorite song from Never Surrender. And I love the title track, Too Much Thinking, When the Lights Go Down. Yeah, this album has some great killer stuff. It's not a bad album at all. You know, it's, I would say, my 4th favorite. You know, it's Just a Game, Allied Forces, Rock and Roll Machine, and Never Surrender. And I saw that tour with Molly Hatchet. Okay. Loudness, The Law of Devil's Land, right? sung in Japanese. I'm a big fan of Akira Takasaki. Every time I see one of these albums, I have to pick it up. I put it on, I enjoy it. I really like listening to music with English singing so I can understand it more. But, you know, I put this on and, you know, it's like, whatever, man. Let me just hear Akira kick ass. And the band is tight. I like Minoru Niharo, the singer. He's got a good voice. Sabotage, Sirens, I believe their first release. The title track, Holocaust, Rage, On the Run, Twisted Little Sister, Scream Murder. Awesome stuff. I'm a big Sabotage fan. Really up to Hall of the Mountain King, though I did like select tracks off Gutter and Streets and Edge of Thorns. And after that, I don't care. But up to that point, Handful of Rain without, with Skolnick had some good tracks. This is my favorite Krokus album. And it would have been nice to put it in the top 20. The top 20, all these albums I'm showing you, with the exception of a couple, they have a lot of fillers. This one, I don't think has any fillers. This is a great, great album. Best Krokus album. Nightwolf, Headhunter, Eat the Rich, Screaming in the Night, Ready to Burn, which has Rob Halford. And Stayed Awake All Night, Russian Winter. This is like, to me, Krokus at their peak. After this, love Headhunter. And I had Alice Cooper sign it. For a while there, Dada was my favorite blackout period of Alice Cooper. I love this album. Recently, I think Flesh to Fashion is better. But this is a great, great album with some bizarrely songs, really fucked up intro. I actually highly recommend this album, even if you want to hear something strange. Listen to this or Flesh to Fashion. Special Forces is awesome as well. Zipper Catches Skin was good. Very underrated live album. Thin Lizzy Life. Everybody talks about Armed and Dangerous. This album is amazing. My favorite track on here is Got to Give It Up, where Phil does that little spoken intro. And at the end, I think it's during the rocker, like everybody gets on stage. John Sykes, Brian Robertson, Gary Moore, I think even Snowy Shaw. I mean, it's amazing. They all come out. There's a show where, all members come out during various songs. I love it. Thin Lizzy Life is something I play at least once a year. I think it's great. All right, this is an EP, Armored Saint. I'm a big Armored Saint fan, huge. You probably can't make this out, but John Bush signed in the back, "Hey Ralph, who's this guy?" And he puts an arrow pointing at himself. Lesson Well Learned, False Alarm. And what's the third track on here? On the Way. All great tracks. I actually bought this again, and it brings a bonus track, and it's still sealed, and it's on 180 gram. One day I'll open it. I know that bonus track. I've heard it before, and I'll get around to it eventually. But hell yeah. Off Metal Blade Records, the first Armored Saint EP. One of my favorite bands of all time, and one of the rare bands I say that never had a bad release. I used to think La Raza was bad, but it grew on me, and now I realize it's great. Hey, look, the Rods again. Hey, man, I'm always going to praise the Rods, man. In the Raw. This album, doesn't this one have Hurricane? Hell yeah, Hurricane is on this. One of my favorite songs from them. Witch's Brew, Evil Woman, Street Fighter. Hell yeah, man. You guys got to check out the Rods if you like some no preservatives, hard rock and roll / early 80s metal. The Rods in the Raw. This one belongs in the top 20. It really does. But it was edged out. Even edged out by an album that I can't find. I know I own it, and I can't find it, and it's pissing me off. I even had it on CD. But I'll talk about that on the next episode. What makes my top 20 of them? What the hell am I missing? Well, let me tell you something. It hurts, because I think it's even top 10 or very close to the top 10. This one also belongs in the top 10. I love Fire in the Brain from Oz. For those that don't know, the person holding that skull there is Cawthorn from Bathory. Black Candles, Gambler, Fire in the Brain, Searchlights. This is awesome, awesome metal. Love me some Oz. Here's another one that, you know what, it should, shit. There's only 3 left, and these 3 belong in the top 20. They do belong, and I'm sure some of you will probably see one of these or 2 of these and say, fuck, that belongs in the top 20. I don't know if many will agree with this one, but I think it should be in the top 20. Steeler, with Ron Keel and Yngwie J. Malmsteen, Rick Fox, and Dave Evans or Edwards or something like that. Game changer, man. I know Yngwie just walked into this band, had all the songs written, and just shred over it, but I love this album, man. Hot on Your Heels, Cold Day in Hell, On the Rocks, Backseat Driver, Down to the Wire. Hell yeah. And blatant rip-off of the first Van Halen album cover. But I love it. The first Steeler album, and I would put it in the top 20. I absolutely worship that album. Here's, I think most out there, this is one that most would say, that belongs in the top 20. I agree. Ossie, Bark of the Moon. This is a great album, man. My favorite on here is the title track, and Waiting for Darkness is such a great riff. Jakey Lee's amazing. This is my favorite Jakey Lee Ossie album. Now You See It, Now You Don't. Rock and Roll Rebel, Center of Eternity, or Forever, that was called somewhere else. And I even like So Tired, the ballad. Belongs in the top 20. But there was stiff competition. This is the last one before part 2. Boy, do I love me some Suicidal. I discovered this album in '85, 2 years later. But, oh my God, I ended up running out and buying this. This ain't the version I bought, though. I had the original press. This one is a special colored vinyl. I don't know what color it is, though. It's blue, S.A. Yes, all he wanted was a Pepsi. Man, Subliminally, Fascist Pig, Possessed, I Shot Reagan, Won't Fall in Love Today, I Saw Your Mommy, and of course, Institutionalized, Suicidal Failure. Every song on here is good. Hardcore punk, you know, and something I don't really, you know, there's just certain albums I get, and certain albums, most albums I don't. This is one of the rare I get. I love Suicidal. And actually, I really love the direction they went in, the thrash direction, but honestly, this is my favorite. Maybe it's because the first one I ever heard, but I love How Will I Laugh, Join the Army, and was the one after Lights, Camera, Revolution. Love those albums. Oh wait, and I got some CDs. I almost was done here. Lita Ford, Out for Blood. My favorite Lita Ford album. I love the title track and the Black Widow song. Some good shit on here. I like the Dancing on the Edge. Maybe Dancing on the Edge was better, yeah. But this one's very close to second. Out for Blood with the original cover. I have it on vinyl. I can't find it, but it's not with that killer original cover. Dokken, Breaking the Chains. Chock full of fillers, but it has probably my favorite Dokken song. Paris is Burning. I love the title track. Felony. Night Rider. There's some good stuff on here, but yeah, there's some stuff that I'm like, eh. It does have filler. Breaking the Chains, Dokken. Oh, this band's awesome. What was his name? Derek Friegel, right? This band is called Lemans. I discovered this band just a few years ago. My friend Ruben De La Rosa gave me the CDs. Like, check it out. This is really good stuff. And I found out it was released in '83, so I had to give it a mention. Lemans, and this one's called On the Streets. Great guitar player in this band. And the last one I want to show you is the Ramones. I own every single Ramones, either on vinyl, I have their whole releases on either CD or vinyl. This is one I don't have on vinyl. Has Psychotherapy, but this is not one of my favorite ones. I feel there's a lot of filler on this, but I did like a couple tracks on here, like Outsider I liked. And boy, the print is really bad. I gotta throw this one on again. I did listen to all the Ramones albums a lot many years ago, and this is one that, a few tracks is okay. Alright, that's it. That's it for part 1. So join me, put it up tomorrow, man. My top 20 of 1983. Hope to see you there. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching, everybody. SHMACKEMAGOB. This video was brought to you by Miami Metal Merchant for your metal needs. and competitive prices. Visit MiamiMetalMerchant.com. Tell them Dr. FUKK sent you.
Hey, I'm Dr. FUKK.
And I'm the Ayatollah of Alcohola.
And we are from the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
If you want to check out some crazy, uncensored, unbiased, totally nuts reviews of classic hard rock and heavy metal albums, check us out. You can get us on Podbean and iTunes. New episodes every Sunday.
That's right. And we also do each other's moms.
True. Free of charge.
Well, mine charges.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine's free.
Hey, check out my podcast, The Vieira Vault. We're on Spreaker, we're on iTunes, and we're on YouTube. Check it out and subscribe. Hey, headbangers, you want your own radio show? Well, you got it. On Thursday nights here on that metal station, join me on the Dr. FUKK Show. Go in the chat room and I will make you my co-host. That's right. Everybody that joins me in the chat room, I discuss whatever you guys want to talk about. I'll mention your name, I'll say what you say, and we're going to go back and forth. And I'll even fucking play whatever request you want. Unless it sucks, then I ain't playing it because my show rules. And only songs that rule is allowed right here on that metal station. The Dr. FUKK Show airs live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. Well, no, fuck that hope. I better see you there, motherfucker.